today is about online security, so cyber security. I'm basically asking the question, are you safe online? So I've conducted a survey of cyber security, whether which operating systems, which antivirus you're using, and how it affects users. Why did I choose this topic in the first place? The answer lies in your surroundings. Look around you. You're surrounded by computers, smartwatches, and all of these have one thing in common. They're connected to the internet. So who's affected? You are. All of you. In fact, there's a huge loss and due to cybersecurity, there's a lot of money lost by companies, about 27 billion pounds in total. The UK's internet market is about 82 billion, so minus that's 27 minus 82. In fact, 93% of large corporations and 76% of small businesses reported to cyber security breach last year. So that's a large amount of websites. The research. Okay, the research I've conducted, just like I mentioned before, was using surveys. The first one is primary research. How did I conduct my primary research? I gave it to you, all my colleagues and also work colleagues. So, IT people, I consider them as specialists in the field. So all of us are specialists in the field compared to my work colleagues, which have no idea about cybersecurity. What tools did I use? I use tools forms in order to conduct my research. Secondary research, this was conducted using various websites which I found online using Google. Why is it important? Primary research was mainly focused on an individual basis, like how it affects you as a user. Secondary research, I used it to analyze the global impact of the cybersecurity. So here's my research findings. Have you been a victim of cybersecurity attacks? And about 68%, that's a huge amount, said yes. Next one is, which operating system was this attack conducted on? Since Windows actually is about 75% of the global market, it has the highest amounts of attacks conducted on it. iOS and macOS, which have a considerably small amount, they have lessened attacks conducted on them. Sorry, it makes sense. Here's the myth: Mac's gonna get viruses. But why? Just like I explained before, 35% and 30%, that's about 75%, is Windows, whereas Linux and Mac OS X is about 7% and 3% each. And so people say that they don't get viruses. Macs are more secure than Windows because they have less exposure, and there's simply less Macs around for hackers to develop viruses for. Here's another one. What kind of cybersecurity attacks were conducted on these individuals? Most of them were Trojans and spyware. What was the damage? A machine was unusable. You can't actually see it here, but machines were unusable was the highest amount. files were deleted. A different type of virus is, here's a video which explains different types of malware.
Viruses, worms, trojans, and bots are all part of a class of software called malware. The overwhelming majority of malware is created to make money illegally, often by stealing sensitive and confidential information from victims' computers and mobile devices. Malware can also be used for cyber vandalism, cyber espionage, hacktivism, cyber warfare, and various other reasons. Malware can make entry onto your computer via questionable file downloads, visiting infected websites, or through email containing a seemingly benign link or attachment. Common types of malware. Viruses. Almost all viruses are attached to an executable file, which means the virus may exist on a system but will not spread until the user opens the infected program. Viruses often originate on the internet and spread when downloading a file infected with a virus, peer-to-peer file sharing, or email attachment. Trojan. A Trojan is a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. Users are typically tricked into leading and executing it on their system. Trojans can not only steal your sensitive data, they can also give cyber crooks access to your system. Trojans are employed to gain access to your computer's financial and personal information. Ransomware. Ransomware holds your PC hostage and demands money. It locks up your computer, threatening to destroy data, demanding ransom or a payment for release of your data, files, or to regain the ability to use your computer again. Spyware. Spyware secretly gathers private information about the user activity, such as internet usage, and logs keystrokes via the process of keylogging to steal passwords and other sensitive data. Worms. Worms can replicate themselves and infect multiple computers on a network, causing major damage. Network worms often use computer networks to spread, slowing down traffic and relying on security failures such as outdated operating systems and no antivirus programs installed. In contrast, viruses require the spreading of an infected host file. Worms are a standalone software and do not require a host or human help to spread. The best way to protect your system from malware is to keep your operating system clean by downloading regular patches, updates, and making sure that your computer is protected by the latest antivirus software from a trusted vendor.
There we go. So do you need some?
Viruses,
Advance it.
worms,
Escape.
Trojans, and bots are all part of a class of software called malware. The overwhelming majority of malware is created to make money illegally, often by stealing sensitive and confidential information from victims' computers and mobile devices. Malware can also be used for cyber
This one,
vandalism, cyber espionage,
Thank you.
hacktivism.
There we go.
So the next section is comparison. You learn from your mistakes. So people at the time of the attack used no virus protection or Windows Defender. So this is the Windows Essentials software, which is always installed on your Windows machines. So this is what they use now. They use Avast. That's the highest. About 14 people out of 23. They use Avast and AVG and not an antivirus, which is the worst antivirus ever. But do you use illegal torrent sites such as Pirate Bay or Kcache torrents? A wide majority said yes to this. So this is one of the ways most people get viruses, through downloading illegal content. Most of it is P2P connections, so you actually connect it, the uploader's computer directly to download the file. I tried to keep the questions as light as possible. I tried to use different kinds of answers, so people can actually enjoy the survey and keep their interest. Do you often use the same password across different websites for login details? Now, this is a big one. About 68% said yes. So suppose Karen, you have a website about clothing, right? And Farin wants to buy some clothes of you. She registers an account. She uses her email and password, which she is one of the 68% who use the same password. So, Obvious, he's a hacker now. He's one of the black hat hackers. Okay, black hat hackers are criminals performing illegal activities for personal gain and attacking others. So, obviously, he just wants the data from current database. So, he finds a vulnerability in current databases. He steals the database. Now he sells it to a buyer, Sham. You buy it off him, and you look through the database. You find Farin, and she's like a personal. She has power. She's like a president of a country. Yes, you have power. You're like in a defense ministry. Yes, and you use your same passwords everywhere. You don't know. Now these hackers, they find your name, they look up, and they actually open your Facebook, Google, and you actually declare war to a different country, and your country is just vanished. It's the same. That's the same thing that happened to Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg about 2 weeks ago. He used the same password in LinkedIn profile, and his Facebook account actually got hacked for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So still, he used the same password as LinkedIn. So white hat hackers, these are just the opposite of black hat hackers. These are ethical hackers. So they try to find solutions and possibly give answers to like companies to actually solve more problems. Have you ever used a VPN? Most of them said no. Use public Wi-Fi hotspots. Most of them said yes. No. Wi-Fi hotspots. There are different kind of Wi-Fi hotspots. Some people might actually illegally post them in public places, so you can like connect it. Because they're not they don't have security. Like a lot of people will try to actually connect to these to gain internet access, but they don't know that someone is actually like spying on them. So if you actually log into your banking details or something like that, you can software like Wireshark could be used to actually look at data packets to see what the user is looking at. So I think Obia did a presentation about big data, and there's a lot of linking between cybersecurity and big data. I think you mentioned about cookies when he finished his presentation. Cookies, they use JavaScript cookies. A lot of websites, they use third-party cookies instead of Google Analytics. So these, they can customize them like they want to. So third-party cookies, they can actually track your movements. They can actually, your keystrokes can be recorded by them if they use the right kind of programming, PCS. So if they're installed on login pages, you can actually spy on users. You can track the logins and password, and possibly if you use your passwords throughout different websites, the same passwords, they have access to like your Facebook account, your Instagram. Clickjacking is a practice where the JavaScript rewrites the elements on a web page. So elements such as videos, these are like clickbaits. You actually click somewhere and it actually approves like an installation, which you don't actually approve. It does it for you. You don't know it's happening. So it might install like a virus and you don't even know what's going on. So yeah, in order to avoid this, it's better if you use if you delete your cookies after your sessions. Browsers such as like Tor browsers, they actually like delete the cookies at the start of your session. So every time you open it, it's entire new browser. It also like block Flash Player plugins because they actually record your location, also like cookies. That's why I think Chrome actually took out the support for Flash because it's not safe. This is a video, some facts of cybersecurity. Watch my video.
With recent high-profile and widespread computer viruses making headlines, it's become obvious that the future is now. Welcome to Watch Mojo News, the weekly series where we break down news stories that might be on your radar. In this installment, we're counting down 10 crucial facts you should know about cybersecurity. Number 10. What is cybersecurity? The term cybersecurity was coined in 1988 as a result of one of the first ever registered online viruses, the Morris worm. The worm caused many of the 60,000 computers connected to the internet at the time to slow down, to the point that they were unusable.
My personal speculation is that this is somebody who is trying to warn people to say it can happen to you.
More recently, cybersecurity has come to signify a form of protection from attacks designed to paralyze websites, financial networks, and other computer systems by flooding them with data from outside computers. Number 9. How has the landscape changed? Cyber attacks have become much more sophisticated and much more dangerous over the years. Today, several organizations have proven that the cyber community is not safe, private information is not private, and anything can be leaked online if you're not careful. Created in 2006, WikiLeaks is a website that publishes secret information, news leaks, and classified documents for public consumption. The website has been involved in numerous high-profile investigations, as thousands of secret government and corporate documents have been made available to the masses.
We would like the rest of the media to take up our gauntlet, do everything that we can do, and therefore it would be necessary.
Number 8. What is the cloud? Cloud storage is essentially where digital data is stored on a server and typically owned by a hosting company. By storing your data this way, it's easily accessible anywhere, anytime. You may have heard about iCloud, which is a cloud storage and cloud computing system from Apple Inc. On August 31st, 2014, iCloud was hacked and over 200 private celebrity photos were posted to the image board 4chan. According to Apple, the leak, nicknamed Celebgate and the Fappening, was, quote, a very targeted attack on usernames, passwords, and security questions, a practice that has become all too common on the internet. Number 7. Who's doing the hacking?
Hello, citizens of the Rio Grande Valley. I come to you again on an urgent note.
As technological advances increase, so does the number of enemies in the cyber arena. From white hat hackers looking to highlight the weakness of a computer system, to lone hackers trying to steal personal photos or information to use as blackmail, to experienced criminals devoted to stealing banking info, to teams of hackers looking to protest. Hackers come in every shape and size. A major player today is Anonymous, an international network of hacktivists who attack government, religious, and corporate websites using their wide-ranging technological expertise to fight for what they believe is the greater good. Working as online vigilantes, hacker groups like Anonymous and LulzSec work in the shadows of the internet. Though undoubtedly influential, they're still widely criticized.
The corrupt fear us, the honest support us, the heroic join us.
Number 6. What are some famous targets? Citizens, corporations, and even large government agencies are not safe from the machinations of cyber criminals. As early as 1995, the Citibank network was hacked by Russian Vladimir Levin, and millions of dollars were taken. Famously, in 2011, the website of technology security company HB Gary Federal was hacked, exposing over 71,000 confidential emails. Another example of the power some hackers wield was the shutdown of the CIA's main website on June 15, 2011 by the group LulzSec, coming on the heels of the group's high-profile attack on the Sony Pictures site. In 2013, hackers involved in the biggest cyber fraud case in American history were charged after they targeted the NASDAQ, as well as companies like Visa, JCPenney, JetBlue, and more, costing them more than $300 million. Number 5. What does cybercrime look like? Cybersecurity infringements can be split into two classifications: crimes that target computer networks and those that use computer networks to advance other ends. We'll be focusing on the first category, which includes computer viruses, denial of service attacks, a favorite of hackers, and malware like Trojan horses, worms, bugs, and more. These attacks can work in two ways. Either they require the user to mistakenly run an infected program, or, as in the case of a worm, the virus spreads itself and only needs a network to infect other computers. The good news is that antivirus and anti-malware software is available for your computer, with the goal of protecting your operating system by stopping unwanted operations. Number 4, who's protecting my rights? In the United States and around the world, governments are gearing up to tackle the next threat to global security: cyber attacks. In some cases, governmentally mandated programs have been created to support key infrastructure sectors by providing money and resources. On a global scale, international treaties dealing with cybercrime are being considered, like 2001's Convention on Cybercrime.
Cyber attacks have plunged entire cities into darkness.
Furthermore, on January 1st, 2013, the European Union established the European Cybercrime Center, a hub that will support member states in investigating and responding to cybercrime. Number 3, how secure is my online information? There are many steps you can take daily to secure your privacy, personal information, and essentially your digital footprint. To start, make sure the websites you frequent are reputable, especially when banking, and be mindful of questionable emails or requests for personal information. In terms of passwords, make them long, strong, and unique. And wherever possible, enable a two-step verification process to keep yourself even safer. Always check a Wi-Fi network before you connect to ensure it's secure. And finally, avoid sharing compromising information and pictures, as these things can easily be shared with anyone in your network. Number 2, what are the current concerns? With more and more people and devices connected to the internet than ever before, the opportunity for hacking and cybercrime is growing exponentially. A recent concern facing computer users is the software bug known as shell shock or bash door. Some specialists are worried it will pose an even bigger threat than the security bug Heartbleed, which had previously been labeled catastrophic. Unlike Heartbleed, shell shock can not only spy on computers, it can also take complete control of them, exploiting an existing vulnerability in Mac and Linux-based computers. With potentially hundreds of millions of devices at security risk, many major software companies have patched the bug.
Worst thing that could happen is that somebody would write code that would automatically go and scan the internet and would infect all of these computers.
Number 1, what is the future of cybersecurity? Combating cybercrime will require a cohesive, formalized international movement whereby law enforcement agents can go beyond cyberspace to prosecute those engaged in illegal cyber activity. Criminals' techniques are constantly changing, but their goals remain steadfast. They wish to either malevolently destroy or to use hacking as a means of protesting the status quo. As new cybercrime issues arise and old ones persist, the need for a global system of laws to prevent and police these infractions will soon become a requirement. Only then will cybercrime become a thing of the past. Did these facts surprise you? To vote for which news story is covered next, head over to watchmojo.com/suggest and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more newsworthy top 10s every week.
Hope you enjoyed the video. So the conclusion, you can never be safe online. like I asked the question, are you safe online? You can never be safe online because hackers are finding new ways of actually attacking new groups. So there are small ways of how to protect yourself, like installing antiviruses, installing anti-malware onto your systems. Use of VPNs when you're actually browsing the internet. Another way is using private browsers, browsers like Tor browser, which is actually really secure. They wipe out your cookies and also browsing history too. That's about it. Any questions?
You said about like Macs having a lower percentage of, I guess, viruses being made for them, and it's because of the, I guess, PCs are just more common. You said.
It's actually better value for hackers in order to make viruses for Windows, because they can target a larger audience, say 75%, instead of like just 5%.
Yeah.
They can make a lot of money from actually hacking 75%.
Yeah, Macs are generally used for like personal computers,
yeah,
or for educational.
It's actually educational. Depends. Some companies actually install them in work purposes,
Yeah.
but mostly it's for content creation.
Yeah, design and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
designers.
Okay, but not for just like general business.
No.
No. Okay.
It's not viable for them. It's actually expensive if you
Yes.
set up Macs everywhere.
Yeah.
Questions?
You said something about VPNs and how we should use them,
Oh yeah, virtual private networks.
and you said that it looked like there were a lot of people that don't use them.
It's actually a secure network which you can tunnel through the internet. It changes your IP, which means people from, say, you're using a VPN on Wi-Fi. You can actually protect yourself from people trying to enter your computer because you have a different IP.
And can you use that on mobile devices?
Yes. I think it's called TunnelBear. There's many examples of VPN. I've heard one of TunnelBear, which is actually advertised by Linus. Yeah, you can use it on phones and tablets too.
And then you also said something about a certain type of browser that always
Tor
resets.
browser. Yes.
What, the other browsers don't have this feature?
Not really at the moment. No. Tor browser actually changes your IP as well, just like VPN, but it also deletes your cookies. Also, browsing history.
Okay.
But it could be used to like access illegal content.
So is it like
Legal
Tors?
website.
Tors were those that kind of like digital currency, right? Wasn't there a type?
That's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin.
There was, yeah, but what was, some of those websites were using some type of. I seem to remember some type of mention of this of Tors, Tor.
This browser actually changes your location as well.
Okay.
So you could appear to be in Sweden instead of UK. That actually allows you to access websites which are banned in the UK.
And that's called Tor browser.
Yeah, Tor browser. So you can actually access torrent websites.
Hmm.
Tor is actually mainly used for the dark web.
Okay.
It was
That
made by the
uses-
US military.
That uses a different protocol to go on those websites. You can't access the dark web off of your normal browsers.
No.
It uses something called Onion. And only the Tor browser uses that. And that's why it's got so much like security built into it, because bitcoins are mostly used over the dark web because they're traceable.
Yes. Okay. So then, is that that's recommended that people use that rather than Chrome and Firefox and stuff like that?
Not really, because
Is the program itself considered? I mean, what you said that? Did you say it was banned by us?
it was made by the US
It was
military.
made by the
US military.
Okay. and it's freely available.
Yes, it is.
Sounds like a trap.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to look into that. All right. Well, unless they're I guess if people have any questions or comments, they will post them on your YouTube video of this presentation. All right. Thank you very much.